and welcome to the Moon card. How are you today,
Hello.
Hershe?
I am present, I am here, and I'm going to turn this day into the best day possible.
And there is a new addition to your family. Congratulations, Grandma.
I got a new beautiful baby girl dragon, and she is a Pisces, and she is some kind of feisty, and she's got a lot of fight in her. And I am so excited. Whew, I'm so excited to have her as my newest addition. She's perfect.
And welcome back, Jeff, from
Thank
Tarot
you.
Ask Backwards.
Thank you guys for having me once again.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it dearly.
Well, we appreciate your input because the more diverse thought processes actually do help me solidify different meanings, alternate meanings from, just the standards. So
I appreciate you and the structure that you bring as far as the knowledge and wisdom about the cards, and your Piscean approach to all of this is very much in tune with how something like this should be done. So I appreciate your navigating the waters.
Well, we have a Pisces card today. The moon is zodiac associated with Pisces. So we have that fishy-washy intuition, lunacy in our backgrounds.
Don't we, though?
Are you also Pisces?
I wish. No, Aries.
Air. Okay.
Hey, fire. Hey.
Then I'm glad you're not my boss, because I've always had conflicts with Aries signs.
Yes, and right now Neptune is leaving or about to approach leaving Pisces and go into Aries, so that war energy a lot of psychics are seeing could be ramping up in the next year or so. So that's something to think about.
Oh, thank you for saying that, Miss Moonlight. And hello, Scorpio Mama, Miss Moonlight, JR. Thanks for being with us yet again.
Hi, beautiful peoples.
JR, what's your fire sign? There's that, just speaking of Aries. Okay, let's see what I got for banners today.
I want to start it off with a reading before we start banners. Could I please?
You may.
Great, because I'm a moon child, so I feel some type of way about this, right? So y'all know, every Sunday I bring the handy dandy dictionary, right? And every Sunday I read what originated every single one of these 78 cards that we're going through, right? I hope eventually for Thomas to have this book, and I think Miss Moonlight may have ordered it. I hope she's getting it soon. But what I want to focus on first is the beginning, right? It says, and this is just in the middle of the beginning paragraph. You guys know how I am. I read the parts that seem to mean specifically where something feels right for me, right? Can't say for you. I can only speak for me. It says, first of all, the moon card is probably literally today the most common and well-known tarot card. The term lunatic is loosely derived from the Latin word for moon. literally meaning affected by the moon. For several hundred years, many direct connections between the moon and insanity were dismissed as superstition. Sounds like something I heard someone say recently. Yet, from every policeman to social worker that I've talked to, there was always a correlation between the phases of the moon and its cycles and the insanity and violence in man and woman alike. There's like 4 more paragraphs that we are definitely going to get into, but I just wanted to start right with that.
I recognize that from when I worked at the nursing home. It would, you could always tell when it was a full moon because your Alzheimer's patients were up and about walking the hallways and pacing, or just different things like that. So
almost makes you want to put it with the tower card, even though it's not linked. For me, I would link it to a tower because I see the tower as the asylum tower that somebody commits suicide off of, right? Or that their world just came crumbling down because they got institutionalized somehow, right? I know I see it differently than everybody else, and I'm okay with that. But what I'm saying is that if we don't have our own interpretation and all of us be able to come together as grown adults and talk about it, how are we ever going to grow and learn? So this is an excellent opportunity to show that there are so many differences when it comes to this card and how it's actually seen.
And for me, the association with the moon being hidden, it actually brings out parts of our personalities that we may not want to confront all the time, that shadow side of people. I definitely recognize that I have some very ugly traits at times. Whether the moon affects that or not is debatable, or whether it's just my mindset, psychology going into things. So I'll put up keywords here. And Jeff, what would you say when you draw a moon card as maybe the foundation or the center of a reading that you're reading on? What, in the generalization, what would you come up with?
The first thing, well, there are about 4 different things that can come to mind specifically, but I would say if we're looking in a reading, especially in a reading like a Celtic cross reading, or if we have a structure in a reading, I would say more than anything, the most important aspect of it is the subconscious elements at work, or the things that we're not necessarily in denial about, but the stuff we might not, or the things that might have happened that we've buried in our subconscious, or the things that have already happened that have come out that we think are secrets, but yet aren't, or the paranoia we feel about a situation. Those are the elements that bear a lot of fruit and weight on my readings and the interpretations of what I see when I see that card.
And Hershe, yeah.
I was saying hi to Maru.
Oh, okay. When I get the moon, it's totally personal to me and how I operate. So I put myself into the reading because I am self-delusional at times. Trying to rationalize my lunacy. Why I've buried things, or do I need to stuff it under the mattress further, or can the Playboys sit out.
Yeah, or the delusions that we have, about ourselves.
So the moon card in the tarot deck is associated with various keywords and interpretations when it's in the upright position. And these are the upright keywords. Intuition is trusting your instincts and inner feelings. Imagination, exploring the realms of the creativity and fantasy. I have a lot of fantastical thoughts and imagination in my makeup. Psychic abilities, developing and recognizing the intuitive gifts. Emotional depth, delving into our subconscious and the emotional realms. Our unconscious minds, tapping into the hidden thoughts and desires. Mystery, embracing the unknown and the mysterious aspects of your life. Introspection. Go ahead, Hershe.
I said mini and teeny weeny moons. I was just showing different moons. I was just saying mini, teeny weeny.
Introspection, reflecting on our inner thoughts and feelings. Dreams, paying attention to both literal and metaphorical dreams. So pay attention to your daydreams. Illusions, being aware of deceptive or unclear situations. Instability, navigating through uncertain or fluctuating circumstances. Cycles, acknowledging that there's a natural ebb and flow to life. Our shadow selves, confronting and understanding the hidden aspects of oneself. Reflection, examining oneself and one's life from different perspectives. Intuitive guidance, seeking guidance from within rather than relying solely on those external sources. When we've got it in reverse, the meanings can shift into different aspects. In our reverse keywords, we have deception, uncovering hidden truths or illusions. Confusion, feeling lost or uncertain about our situations. Emotional turmoil, struggling with emotions, instability, or chaos. Misinterpretation, just misunderstanding signals or misreading situations. I've been guilty of that many, many times. Releasing of fears, overcoming fears and anxieties. Clarity, gaining insight and understanding after a period of confusion. Breaking of illusions, seeing through the falsehoods or self-deceptions. Facing reality, coming to terms with the truth of a situation. I've got that where I don't clearly see the truth of the situation, or I don't want us to recognize that the situation is exactly how it is. I want to paint it a different way. Repressed emotions, addressing and dealing with buried feelings. Instability resolved, finding stability after a period of uncertainty. Emergence from the subconscious, bringing hidden issues to the surface. And those can be epiphany moments. Increased intuition, trusting and developing your intuitive abilities. Avoiding self-deception, being aware of the pitfalls of self-imposed illusions. And reconnecting with reality, grounding oneself, being present. Do you have any other words that you would say are keys for you, Jeff?
Sometimes I get delay with this card. Only because if it's upright, there's an element of anxiety with it. So it can sometimes mean you're waiting or anticipating something with that paranoia. So maybe there could be a delay, as opposed to if it were reversed, it's something that already happened.
Probably a self-imposed delay because you don't want to face the situation or the circumstances. And Hershe got warm. Are the guides present?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Does Miles or anybody want to chime in on the moon card?
Not yet, but they do have something to say, but not yet.
Well,
they're not close enough for me to feel it, but I can tell by the way they're coming that they definitely have something to say. That they're coming in. Let's see. I think Brian said it best when he started rotating a card, and he said, "Imagine the word rotation written on here." So I'm seeing that little blank screen right now, and it's kind of blurry. You can't quite make it out, but it's coming in.
And that goes with the moon card. Your creativity and your imagination can go a long way to shaping your view of your personal world. It may not have anything to do with reality, but it's your perception. Okay. So Hershe's got to take care of something. So our symbolism on the moon card, of course, the moon, top and center. And let's see if I can get some light on that. So our moon is our focus on this card. It is the biggest symbol on most moon cards. And those are the things, the cycles, the moon cycle. So when I get timing with the moon card, I would say approximately a month, 28 and a quarter day cycle of the moon. Or mini moons, or once in a blue moon. We approximately have one blue moon a year, spread out over 11 or 12 month cycles, just depending on how our calendar lines up with the moon. The two towers, gateways to the unknown, and they are for our dual nature of reality. It's what's actually there, what we perceive in our own mind.
Can I ask a question of everybody that's here? It looks like we've got 8 people here, and I would like to see 8 comments on how they do not appreciate the unknowns, because that's what the moon is about, right? When we think about the rituals that are done to the moon, with the moon, for the moon, the harvest moon, the blood moon, the blue moon, the pink moon, the wolf moon, we think about all these beautiful, powerful moons that we look forward to. The waxing and the waning of it, and all of these beautiful blessings that it comes with, the undertows, the overtows, the currents, the undercurrents, all of the cycles that this 29 to 30 day cycle brings to every single one of us in its own unique way. What is your reality of facing those unknowns? Because to me, this is what the moon card is about. It's like, for me, I would pair it with the Ten of Swords. Don't expect me to explain it until we get to the Ten of Swords, but just remind me when we get to the Ten of Swords to explain to you what I mean, because by then you will see how I link the Ten of Swords and maybe the Seven of Cups to this card, but that's my subconscious way that I see it. But my team would love to know what the audience, the chat, the beautiful gems that are here, how do you see facing the unknowns that come with it? Well, everybody got quiet. Did I say something wrong? Everybody got quiet. Hi, Sonia. I appreciate the moon as it refreshers a cycle. Makes sense. The Ten of Swords, new beginning. What'd you say, Miss Moonlight? You get the tissue toss. What? Ooh, did somebody just say the Ten of Swords like I do and it's not that bad? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm control myself. I know JJ's gonna have something to say. I just know she is, and I have a strong light speaker that is here right now, and all I can tell you is I don't know how I can understand what she's saying to me, but whatever she's saying to me, she is gravely wanting to see what JJ says. I didn't mean to take nobody back to school. I was great at walking in the front door and right out the back. I don't know how I graduated high school. I'm just saying. I don't know how I did it.
So we've got all those moons that are named. You know, the wolf moon, the corn moon, the harvest moon. So in watching the heavens, people recognize the cycles that the earth passes through annually and gave significance to these events. The harvest moon gave extra light because of the reflection of the sun off the moon, so they could bring their harvest in and have more working hours, so they could reap the profits of their work throughout the year.
JJ says, I am fascinated by the moon cycles and I dread the moon cycles. Mm-hmm. That is one powerful ass sentence, sister. That is a powerful ass sentence.
I wanted to ask, as far as gravity and fertility, where a lot of people stand as far as the moon goes, as far as its guidance, as far as what it can do to a woman every 28 days. I don't mean to go there to be
it's part facetious, of it, part of the cycle.
But I feel I should. And the other question I had is about gravity and the tides and all of that, especially with what we're going through now in the world. Do we coming back to the initial question about the fear associated with this card, is there some idea though that there can be something divine that comes out of conquering that fear with this card?
I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody can actually answer that question for you. I think that you yourself already know the answer to that question. I think it's a matter of perception. Like if I had to answer that question, I would say that the cycles affect emotion, right? Emotion is the fluid, right? Fluid is water, blood, amnio, sometimes energy, can be fluid, right? So if the moon can move tides, and if we're calling a tide an emotion, then why wouldn't it? Because it's moving with intent,
That's
whether it's
beautiful.
good or bad, because it has to do them both. It has to wane and it has to wax, or I'm sorry, it has to wax and it has to wane. It cannot go in a different direction. It has to constantly be in that circle of rotation. So there's going to always be motion when it comes to emotion, and emotion is fluid. So I think you actually already know the answer to the question, because it is pre-programmed to do this. It's pre-programmed on a cycle. It doesn't get knocked off its cycle unless something knocks it off its cycle, right? If something throws it out of balance, it's at that point that it's going to go through chaotic, crazy energy to get back in its cycle, right? I think it's the same way for the human body. If you think about it, we pretty much are pre-programmed. We do the same thing. We go to work, we go to whatever, we go to class, we go to this, we go to that. We go from being a child to being a teenager to an adult to a crone to a coffin, right? Or the ground, however you want to say it. You don't have to. It could be an urn. It could be whatever. You can be donated to science. You know what I mean? It's part of a cycle. And every time we get thrown out of our cycle, yeah, we're thrown into some chaotic shit, but we somehow manage to always get right back on schedule and right back in the rhythm of how things go. So if it's about gravity, then gravity has to be tied to movement, to something that grounds it. And the only way to ground it is to center it. And the only way to center it is to figure out where it fits. You know what I'm saying? So that you
So
can balance it.
when women fall out of the cycle, if you will, and are perimenopausal or menopausal, have they lost an essential connection to themselves that only the moon can bring?
I would say that when they may feel a loss of being the creator, but then they move into another cycle of life where they're the wisdom keepers.
Ah, that's beautiful. That's true too. I hadn't thought of it that way. Especially, I had two parents that were both cancers. Um, and I did find that I think one of them was very much impacted by the moon. He was male. I find it to be I find Cancer to be one of the most intriguing signs of the zodiac. I find it to be one of the funniest, one of the sexiest. Um, I also think that there's an element there where the fatherly paternal image does become maternal, and I appreciate that about it. Um, I also feel that the card itself gets in there, or the connotations of that get a very negative rap, because the Cancer moon, or if you have a moon in Cancer, as I do, um, you can be seen as moody. Um, but that's also where
Never been the
the
case.
elements of creativity come from. So I also associate that card with the subconscious ability to channel. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I do.
My baby brother is a Cancer, and he's an Aries moon. And
Wow.
what I can tell you, is that if I didn't know anybody, when I say my brother from another mother, you are the exact opposite of that damn mean ass Viking pagan. But I'm telling you what, like, you guys have so much here that just is identical. And I
Oh,
literally
wow.
mean identical. Like he is all the way Cancer. And of course, he's at the beginning of Cancer, so he's got just a hair of that spunky Gemini going into him. So he's got enough of that that feeds the Aries moon, that gives him that fire up under him. And he is the only Cancer until recently that I had met that had that much fire and flow in them. Most of the time, everyone I'd ever met was extremely emotional until recently, and I started meeting other Cancers that weren't so moved. Or matter of fact, they were just as moved. They just weren't so easily influenced or intimidated by their own emotions, like a lot of Cancers that I know are.
Mm-hmm.
So, being on this dynamic planet that we live on, um, it wouldn't be a living planet without the moon's effect. You know, it drives the tides. It drives our continental plate system. The tidal bulge um, is more affected by the moon than the sun because it's a closer gravitational field. Um, but the tidal bulge is not exactly lined up with the moon. You know, it's dragged. The bulge is dragged as the moon goes around the Earth. So and the Earth rotates. So creationist theory says, you know, we wouldn't be able to, well, not creationist. This would not be a habitable planet unless we had all these forces, volcanic, creating atmosphere, um, evaporation, you know, generating the clouds and weather patterns. It wouldn't be a tolerable landscape for life as we know it unless we had that extra gravitational influence on us.
It's a very important card.
You know what I didn't know is that when I took, so for those of you that don't know, before I started having my aneurysms, I was working on my bachelor's degree in psychology because I wanted to be a public speaker. I wanted to put my life out there for people to grow from, right? Because some of the things I've overcome, most people will never experience, right? And when I started this platform, I used to think that I needed to go back to a place where I was in a counselor setting because I was always worried about somebody else's feelings, right? I think that was my own version of insanity because I can't control other people's emotions, right? And it was said in the comments about pheromones, right? Pheromones and physion energy scientifically have a very, very strong role to play in this world. I learned that in not just religions of the world, but I've learned that in many math classes and many science classes and many humanities classes because I broke down what pheromones do and what physion energy does, right? They're like bees. Without them, where would we be, right? Literally, guys, literally. If you don't believe me, check into it. I'm not going to go into it. This ain't a teacher moment. But Somebody had to have understood this a long time ago. And whether they wrote about it or they didn't, somebody felt it was good enough information for it to be the number one most recognized tarot card in the world today. And this was created in like what, the 1300s? So this is a very long running time that a tarot deck has been in existence. And it's just a form of an oracle, right?
Yeah.
That's all a tarot deck is a form of an oracle deck. That's it. That's all. You can make it to be whatever you want it to be, but you can literally take the words out of it and it's still an oracle deck. It still has energy. It still has place. It still has value. So if the moon is affecting imagination, unknowns, and tides for these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, who are any of us to question the power that comes behind the unknowns? That is, I guess, the reason that they wanted to know what
so
people's
true.
feelings were. Because if you believe in something emphatically, why question it? Well, we question it because we want to know more, right? We want to know, how long is it going to last? Is it going to stay forever? Is it going to always help us? Is it always going to lead us? Is it always going to guide us? And of course, as long as we continue to believe that way and we continue to feed the knowledge, it will. But when you think about it in the words of like crawling out of something, like literally pulling yourself out of the mud, there is a beautiful metaphor with that, with knowing that there's nothing in the mud, but I don't know what's above me, but I won't know until I get there. So that in itself is why I asked the question. And I've been reading all the comments, and I appreciate all of your guys' answers. They were great. I loved seeing pieces of your mind. But I just wanted to finish why my team was curious. So just thank you guys for that. But just always remember, you're constantly pulling yourself out of something. It's all part of the cycle.
And the crab, with the symbolism, some decks it's the crab, some decks it's the lobster, but it's always coming, emerging from the waters or the muds to bubble up to the surface. So our subconscious or repressed memories always will emerge.
You said that it's always usually a crab or a lobster. Is that like standard? You guys know I understand the RWS. Like that's standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in the,
I never thought to look for a crab or a lobster because I don't actually have any, I guess, what you would call authentically true RWSs, because all of mine have something there, but I didn't know to look for like a crab or a lobster. So thank you for that. I didn't know that. Good to know.
Yeah, and that's just that subconscious thing coming up out of the primordial ooze to raise its head. I'm not going to say it's an ugly head because I think it's it's common to our physiology as humans to have that not duality but triality. There's a trio of things going on, whether you're aware of it or you're repressing it or it's just instinctual in us.
Well, I was going to answer JJ, but Jeff beat me to it. You got to be quicker than that. Boy, I'm telling you, you got to be pretty quick around here. But yeah, it's just the Rider-Waite Smith. I guess all I have is clones, so I'm still hunting out what this actual, that goes by these dang on dictionaries and these words, but I cannot find the perfect card that fits these descriptions because every one of my decks has its own clone version of it, and I swear to God, I didn't know about a crab or a lobster. So
I found
that
it.
is totally just throwing me, but I like it.
So you see this little thing here?
Yeah, I see it. It looks like a lobster to me. Is it a crab? I'm blind.
Uh,
Looks like a lobster.
or a crawfish, a crab, a lobster. This is either a
Okay.
crayfish or a lobster.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, see,
Crabs to
this one has a
me are
lobster on it.
a little more circular.
My Marseille has a lobster on it, but I have creatures and unicorns and wolves and dancing disfigured wooden puppets and people and crystals, and I have clams. I have a mermaid. I just have I have crows. I have dragons. I didn't know to look for that, so I will definitely be looking for that. You have started me on another damn hierophant looking for keys. Thanks, brother Thomas. Shit.
It's a scavenger hunt.
My scavenger hunt has begun. See, y'all just don't know how many scavengers. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Those
Just
can be
wait.
really stressful.
I would
I love it
agree,
though. I love it.
but PD yesterday, she was laughing at everything, and she had, I think she had fun, and she made it fun for all of us.
That was the best show. I don't care. As the owner of the show, I'm telling you, hands down, yesterday was my best scavenger hunt. Brian and Petey brought their A game. That's all I can tell you. They used their imagination to fill the prompt that was read. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go sit outside on God's green couch and I'm going to find me some lemonade and a speck of yellow with a pink carrot, and I'm calling it a bluebird, y'all. I'm just telling you. And don't question me. It's all going to fit and it's going to make sense in my world.
Colin Bluebird.
I'm just saying. I love their imagination yesterday. They brought the exact meaning of what it is I was looking for when I brought the scavenger hunt to this community. And I hope that whoever comes next watches that episode. And I don't care if you don't watch the other ones. I do care, but I don't care. You know what I mean, and you know what I'm saying. I want y'all to be there, but that's what I'm talking about when it comes to using your mind. I tell them every single time, use your mind. Fill the prompt with the best card that you have in your collection that you think fits. I don't know how many times they got a yes, even though it wasn't nowhere near the prompt, but they sold the imagination of their version of the prompt, and it got them score points, like outrageous. They both got like almost perfect scores. Like Brian barely beat her. Barely.
So the last word is uncertainty. On here, we run out of. So between the wolf and the dog,
Uncertainty. I like that.
all the way from our little lobster crayfish, the path winds between them and up through the distance to the mountains, and I would just say it's the pathway of life. There is no straight interstate to anything. We meander until we find certainty or, what we're looking for. But this is suggesting it's our journey into our subconscious, our unconscious. The wolf and the dog. One faces one way, the other faces the other. They are. The wolf stands for instinct, the innate abilities that we all have, flight, fight, or fear responses, and the dog, where we've tamed that and we've domesticated it, and we're able to live with it for a mutual symbiosis. It protects us, and we feel comforted by the presence because they are protecting us. So we end up feeding the dog to do its job for us. Lobster, the deep emotions that may surface. I'm going to say they always surface. No matter what we want, that lobster, that crayfish or crab can always bubble to the surface, especially if you're trying to repress it or keep it hidden. Our moon card is a balance of opposites and dualities. Yin and yang, light and dark, inward and outward.
So Maruda says, do you think that the dog and the wolf represents the split personalities caused by the moon's influence, right? I have a very specific answer for you according to some handy dandy notebooks. So as Thomas gets through, I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Oh, go ahead.
I have to find it real quick, so keep talking. I literally just read something about that. I just got to remember what book
our
I
dog
read
and our wolf, the conscious and the unconscious minds, the fight between, finding inner peace or, is it protection mechanisms that we have that make us operate the way that we do? Is it repressed emotions or thoughts and situations that we don't want to face or deal with? I would say that's the duality of the wolf and the dog. And then, you always see a picture of a wolf depicted as howling at the moon. And what moon cycle is it always at? It's always at the full moon. Very few paintings I've seen, would have the wolf howling at a crescent moon. Well, there you go. And Tom has been slapped down.
But I have very unconventional decks, I'm sorry. I'm distracted. Sorry.
What's conventional? What's conventional about the tarot?
Nothing. I'm sorry. Were you talking to me? Felt like kind of a personal question there, and I'm about to say nothing. This is the most unconventional divination ever. Hershe has so many decks. You know what? Y'all would be surprised at how few I actually have, y'all. Yeah, I'm just saying, y'all make it seem like I got a shit ton. I don't. I really don't.
I wouldn't say that she's got a deck problem compared to the numbers I have heard that some people have.
Wee baby. Did I have FOMO? Absolutely, and I still do, but it applies in a lot of things in life, and it's not just tarot decks. Okay, so maybe I was too quick in haste to say that it might have been a perfect answer, but so in theory, what I think it represents, okay, so the dog is the loyal, present companion, right? So that would be that face of the moon, right? The full moon when you're throwing your trash away and you need to be in a safe place and you need to be around safe people and you just need to literally get rid of the trash, right? And you take your most loyal companion, which is, as they say, man or dog, right? Whatever. And then you have the wolf, which is always howling. That's your subconscious. In my opinion, it's how I took it to mean. So I would say that the wolf, obviously, yes, represents its own cycle, being represented as the self-conscious part of the moon, also representing the new moon, right? The new moon is dark. You can't see it in the nighttime. You can only see my moon in the daytime. That's how powerful that dark new moon energy is, that wolf subconscious energy. So I don't know if that answers your question, Maruta, but I definitely feel like it fits somehow, some way in that split within ourself versus conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. Brother Thomas has left us.
I'm eating a banana. Was getting a little low
You're
there.
just trying to make me hungry.
Well, I didn't want to.
I'm just talking shit.
So our numerology is our 1 and our 8 add up to the 9. And our number 9 is considered a spiritually significant number. Completion, wisdom, and spiritual enlightenment. And that goes with a lot of those Piscean traits as well. It's the 12th house. It's your spiritual church, religion, philosophies. It's known that way in the zodiac. So
I definitely agree with that. I think that if we don't have the differences, we won't find ways to come together. I think it's drastically needed for people to come together. They just flat don't want to see it that way. They want to point out everybody's differences, or they want to pick on or make it seem like it's something that it's not, or they want to twist the truth so that it fits for them, right? So the obstacle illusion is there always, constantly. So yeah, I think I absolutely agree with that. I think it's mandatory that we have our differences, because without them we would all be exactly the same and there would be no in-depth conversation. There would be no opposite attract. So yeah, I think I agree with that, Thomas. I think that's a pretty strong statement for the moon. I like that. Sonia says, do different types of tarot decks serve different purposes? Absolutely, emphatically, 100%, yes. In my opinion. Everybody's got their own. I hope they do anyway. But yes, in my opinion, yes. The Marielle is not for everybody, honey, but I'm telling you, it's one of the best ones out there. So, everybody, different strokes for different folks, and there's all different types. You got Bonefire that's got more color than I can hardly look at, to just beautiful black and white. So they all have a very specific place and a very, very specific meaning when they were created. It's just another form of an oracle. We lost Jeff. In the control, what does that say? In
the context.
In the context. I like that. Mm-hmm. Y'all, it's burning up.
And that's the rest of that paragraph.
Oh, okay. Ooh, you just pulled my favorite word, subconscious. You gotta stop leaving like that, man.
Sorry about that. I had a question, and maybe you guys can answer it. Does the moon have anything to do with regenerative or healing abilities or regenerative abilities? Because I thought the crab or the lobster had a regenerative symbol, or was a regenerative symbol, like they could grow back a leg or something.
Yeah,
It might sound stupid, but I'm just wondering.
I would think that maybe different moon phases could have an effect on the human body in regenerative. And according to the Farmer's Almanac, you get your hair cut in a waxing moon. If you want to grow hair, you get it cut on a waning moon if you want to retain your hairstyle for a longer period of time. Just generalities, but you went to cosmetology school. You may is that a good indicator? Did they teach you about that in cosmetology?
I don't think that we had an actual chapter on moonology, but there was folklore for cutting no shave November because of the moons that are in November. I didn't write them this. I don't know where them people were at when they wrote them, but there has got to be some form of truth to every single myth. You just have to find the truth within yourself and how it fits in your life. So I think that this, if anybody has the ritual tarot, I finally got it. I'm finally blessed. But this is an opening sentence that I heard years ago. And then I had to figure out where it came from. And I think it was either Modern Metaphysique, Dustin, or it was one of the three fat readers. Somehow, one of them read this sentence right here, right? It says, the moon symbolizes the journey into the underworld. This is the lure of the unknown. It is associated with a very specific deity, the goddess of the moon, Hecate. She governs night, witchcraft, and necromancy. She also has the ability to talk to spirits. She is also the goddess that stands at the crossroad. So, you know, we have to think about our times in our life, right? Where we were on a crossroad, our own. You know, we all carry our own weight, or at least we all should be carrying our weight, and not somebody else's. I'm sorry?
Jeff just clicked off again. I know he was probably reviewing it, the stream on his channel to.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So with that right there being a crossroad, right? A crossroad for me, like I know that there's snakes and different reptiles that, you know, they can lose their their tail and regrow it when they need to if they get captured by their tail as a form of defense. So I would think that if there is ocean creatures that can regrow tentacles or regrow their claws or whatever, you know, I don't know how they do it, but there's got to be a reason that there's weight in that. So I don't know. I think Jeff might have something there with that, you know, about being able to regenerate itself.
Watch the Nick VA.
Is that like feedback, Jeff, that you've got going on?
Yeah, I had something like a flare or something.
Okay, because it almost sounds like there's like a whole nother channel playing or something. Or my guides are tuned into somebody's shit and they need to disconnect.
Something like that.
Because I'm still here like a whole other conversation.
It could be my guides.
It's
It could be
It could be.
mine. I mean, mine are trying to like override yours. So
They can try. I don't think they'll get through my boundaries, but they can try. Well, I don't know. If their energy matches my energy, they would be able to come right in the front door. What family does. So
your guides would beat the shit out of my guides.
no, they wouldn't. They would not. They would not. They would not. They would not. No, they wouldn't. See, my team likes you because you're still searching. You're still searching. I'm a little protective with my team, but my team is a very expensive team because it cost me my life to gain them, and I value them without hesitation. And people that have not ever lost their life will never understand that connection. So, to anybody that has a connection to their guides, that is the most precious tool you have in your arsenal. Grow it, grow it, grow it.
Baby
That's what
over
I
strong.
said.
Yeah, jury's still out. We don't. Like,
Multiple
you could easily
tabs.
slip back into trouble.
I have to mute the other ones. The heavens and the earth have beetles, not a lobster. Oh, the heavens and the earth tarot has beetles.
Rich, stay down
Yeah.
and relax. You've had a trying day already. I don't want you to.
So I found this interesting. I would have thought the ruling planet would have just been considered moon, but the ruling planet of Pisces is Neptune. So the moon itself is just a planetary object. Hershe's got the facts.
Woo! And baby, y'all saw I opened it right to the page. Ooh, me and Thoth, baby. Every eclipse of the moon and the sun occur. Okay. I was looking for that. Yep, it's Pisces. Yep, it's definitely Pisces. And Anubis. And it says, in true mythology, it should be a scarab. Okay. See, I like that. You know what I mean? Like, what did he mean by it should have been a scarab? So,
moon scarab. Oh,
right. Like, I want to know more. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess I would have to pull out my Thoth or, well, see that my Marseille has a lobster. So, and I only have one Marseille. What is wrong with me, right? One Thoth, one Marseille. What is wrong with me? I need to get that better. But anyway, I digress. Pisces. So my beautiful little baby dragon is born under the sign of the moon, right? Is that how? Am I understanding that correctly? I mean, she's also a moon child, but Pisces represents the moon. I'm falling more and more in love every second.
So while you're looking something up, I'll just give a example of an affirmation for the moon card. I trust the journey of my emotions and intuition. With each twist and turn, I find clarity and understanding. I embrace the mysteries of life and navigate them with wisdom. I am in harmony with the cycles of change, and I trust the guidance of my inner self. As the moon illuminates the darkness, so does my intuition guide me through the unknown. I am open to the transformative power of my subconscious mind, and I move forward with courage and insight.
So the gem that represents the moon, can anybody guess what the stone is that represents the moon?
Well, I would say an opal or moonstone, or with the amethyst being February.
Yeah, it's a water opal. Very good guess. Very good guess. I like that. So in astrology, the moon is looked at as the Scorpio, as it enters the darkness and the depth of the shades of the soul. Wow. Ooh, I got goosies when I read that. I'm like, oh my God, that's beautiful. I love it. Numbers associated with calamity. What does calamity mean?
Catastrophe.
Well, damn.
Calamity, unfortunate circumstances, events, turmoil's happening.
Wow. So if the number of the moon, like if the moon itself number, which is what, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? So like if it was the 18th of the month and we were going through some kind of eclipse, in earlier times, it would have been associated with calamity. That's why I was like, what does that word mean? But if an eclipse of any kind falls on the actual day of the moon card, which was what, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18th of any month, it used to be a sign of calamity. It's crazy, right? But I mean, that's just the unknowns of it. I mean, I'm not looking at it like that's just horrible because I can't. But
that's just a coincidence with our trying to number time, break it up into man-made constraints. The calendar we have today isn't the calendar we had, and then there's different parts of the world that have different calendars.
Yep, very true, very true, very true, very true.
Okay, if you would get out your journals or pens and papers, and I've let the AI voice be this one. Since I found that trying to read a 5-minute story, I get very breathy. So I'm Hershe and Jeff. I'm going to mute you while the story comes on. It's going to come in the middle of the screen.
Title: Moonlit Reverie.
What are we doing?
In the quaint town of Everwood, nestled between the imposing mountains and the gentle waves of the sea, Luna discovered a hidden treasure, a small antique shop with an air of mystery. Drawn by an inexplicable force, she stepped inside and found herself surrounded by ancient artifacts and peculiar trinkets. The shopkeeper, an elderly woman with knowing eyes, seemed to sense Luna's curiosity and led her to a dusty corner where an ornate box held an ancient deck of tarot cards. The cards, weathered by time, whispered promises of untold secrets and hidden truths. Intrigued, Luna purchased the deck, and little did she know that this spontaneous decision would set her on a path of self-discovery and mysticism. As Luna explored the deck in the quiet sanctuary of her room, one card captivated her, the moon. Its symbolism, with a winding path leading through a mysterious landscape under the moon's watchful gaze, intrigued Luna. That night, as Luna slept, vivid dreams unfolded. She found herself walking along the very path depicted on the moon card, surrounded by an otherworldly glow. Night after night, Luna's dreams became a tapestry of surreal landscapes and encounters with mysterious figures. Her waking hours were touched by a newfound intuition, and emotions surged within her like tidal waves. The moon card seemed to be a key unlocking the door to her subconscious. Driven by an irresistible pull, Luna decided to delve deeper into the mysteries hinted at by the moon card. She sought out others who shared a connection to the tarot, and in Everwood, a hidden community emerged. Each member brought their unique insights, and together they formed a tight-knit group exploring the ancient art of divination. As Luna delved into her own psyche, her dreams guided her through a labyrinthine realm, a reflection of the moon card's mysterious pathway. She confronted her deepest fears and desires, and with each revelation, a layer of her past was peeled away, exposing the raw beauty of her true self. One night, during a shared meditation within the community, Luna's dream took an unexpected turn. The group found themselves standing beneath the ethereal glow of the moon, surrounded by an otherworldly forest. A figure emerged, a spectral guide who seemed to embody the essence of the moon card. "Welcome, seekers of truth," the guide spoke, their voice a melodic whisper. "You have journeyed far to uncover the mysteries of the moon. Follow me, and the secrets of the cards shall be revealed." The group followed the guide through the dreamlike forest, each step resonating with the heartbeat of the cosmos. Along the way, they encountered challenges that mirrored the symbolism of the tarot cards. The Lovers, the Tower, and the Hanged Man, all unfolded in symbolic scenarios that tested the seeker's resolve and understanding. As Luna moved through the dream forest, her connection with the moon card deepened. She began to comprehend the cyclical nature of her emotions, the dance between light and shadow in her life. The dream guide, a manifestation of the moon's energy, offered cryptic guidance, encouraging Luna to trust her intuition and navigate the twists and turns of her journey. In the waking world, the community of seekers continued their exploration of the tarot. They held gatherings, interpreted each other's cards, and shared insights into the profound symbolism contained within the ancient deck. Luna, now a central figure in the group, found solace and inspiration in their shared pursuit of self-discovery. As the group delved further into the mysteries, they uncovered an ancient prophecy hidden within the cards, a cosmic truth that transcended the boundaries of time and space. The moon card, they realized, was not just a guide but a doorway to a realm where the seen and the unseen converged. In a moment of revelation, Luna understood that the moon card was not just a symbol, it was a mirror reflecting the depths of her own soul. The dream guide, who had guided them through the dream forest, revealed themselves as an embodiment of Luna's inner wisdom, an aspect of herself that had been obscured by the illusions of daily life. Empowered by this realization, Luna and the community of seekers embraced the transformative energy of the moon card. They channeled its wisdom into their lives, navigating challenges with newfound clarity and resilience. Luna, in particular, found her intuitive abilities heightened, and her connection with the subconscious became a source of strength. The story concludes with Luna and the seekers continuing their exploration of the tarot, forever changed by the journey guided by the moon card. As they gathered under the moonlit skies of Everwood, they understood that the path of self-discovery was a perpetual journey, a labyrinth of emotions, dreams, and truths waiting to be unveiled with each draw of the cards.
So that's the end of story time. I've got Irreverent Fool if you want me to play the Irreverent Fool, or Parade of Fools, which is about 5 minutes of different fool cards.
No, I just enjoy your stories. I didn't get to finish my whole thing, but I was making optical illusions, so I don't know. I was making optical illusions. I was enjoying it.
So one of the things that I thought of with the transformative powers of the moon, is that cycle of we hide things, we become aware of things, we are enlightened why we thought about things, and the transformation is like that aha moment, and then moving on to no longer delude ourselves or just the next phase of life.
Uh-huh.
That's transformative power to me.
Okay, so I wrote something.
Okay, we're waiting for the poetry.
Okay.
'Cause
Something about you seems far from whole. Some trauma inflicted bruised your soul. A day late and $1 short, you fell from the heavens like a shooting star. Yet it's still not a given that you have a head start. Maybe darkness is the absence of light you're too eager to leave behind. You've been running from yourself, and now you're running out of time. Next to the secrets revealed, the naked paranoia you feel, danced by the devil by the light of the moon. It's the only way you can reveal you, the true you.
wow,
All I got. Yeah.
That was nice.
beautiful, Jeff, beautiful.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So maybe when this series is done, you can publish the poetry of the tarot. Yeah.
Oh yes, you've heard about that. That's that if Hershe was in there, I'm gonna be doing that for all 7.
Hershey was in there, but Hershey didn't say anything. Wasn't Hershey's place.
Oh, it wasn't you, but I felt you there through your guides.
Oh, I'll tell them to back off a little bit. They might be a little heavy. Sorry.
Well, that concludes our look into the moon card. And next week, we will be looking into 19, the sun. And thank you all for being here with
Thank
us.
you guys.
You're
But
so
yeah.
welcome, Jeff. Jeff, what do you have coming up?
This was like, you know, I'll be talking shit. I be having hella fun. That's all. I just be having fun. If you ain't laughing, you ain't living. Life is about laughter. You have to find it though. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I do have tonight with Heather. Moon Scarab will be joining us on her channel in a reading about, as we do every week, channeled readings through poetry and what the energy that the question, not even so much the question gives off, but the person asking it gives off, so that we can give them a pretty concise reading. And I don't know what Heather has planned vis-a-vis Moon Scarab, but I can't wait to see. So I'll be on that tonight, and I do have a surprise collaboration next week that we're looking toward. It's just a question of how it's going to go, and I can't wait for you to see that. It will be alive. And some other readings.
So you're leaving us in the unknown? You're just going to leave us hanging like that? How dare you use moon energy like that?
I know.
Don't
I
take
always
advantage of it.
I always like to leave an element of surprise, but sometimes
You have to. That is the best cliffhanger, and that's what life is about. It keeps them coming back, baby.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Hershe,
Yes.
anything for the rest of the day? I know meta messages on a Monday.
I'm so tempted with the ones that have come in today to do a pop-up, and it just might happen. You might find me on a pop-up later today, y'all. I don't know if I'm going to be able to control the energy, but it's going to be interesting.
Well,
No promises. No promises.
Today is birthday eve, or what I love to call my grandmother's birthday. She never quite forgave my mother for not having me on her birthday, but we did get to celebrate about 16 years together.
Oh, blessings.
So Grandma Lorena, I think about you often, but I feel your presence as well.
Well, happy heavenly birthday to her.
And tomorrow is what I call my official channelversary, because I decided, after many months of hemming and hawing, to actually post content starting on my birthday. So it's my official, unofficial channelversary tomorrow. And what a journey this year has been. There's been ups and downs and retooling and spaghetti throwing, and you've made life interesting, and I think I have accomplished one goal. I'm sleeping through the night more and more often, even though you don't know that there's a little more structure in my life now that I have something to answer to and someone to provide content for. And Hershe helps me so much with research and stuff like that, and we're our own biggest cheerleaders. So thank you, Hershe,
We're
for
supposed to lift each other up, and that's the best part of it. You are stuck with me, brother. Brothers.
and what a beautiful stuckage I have.
Oops, my bad. Me and my favoritism. My God, how dare me? Gotta stop doing that, y'all. And Thomas, you can't show no more favoritism on no more lives.
Only during his karaoke.
And only during scavenger hunts can we show favoritism. Because we're just having to have fun anyway. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You could have been anywhere, but you're here with us, and you guys don't know how much that means to us. Remember, do all of them YouTubey things, as I like to say, and just do right by people, man. Do it with a smile on your face and nothing malice in your heart. And I promise you, what comes back, if you release it with love, whatever your team and the universe does to add its own flavor to your send back, send that bad energy back with nothing but tenfold of love from you, and let life, karma, and fate handle the rest of it.
Thank you for
Them three
being with
pieces
me.
don't play well together.
Thank you for being with me, Hershe. Jeff, thank you for being with me again and sharing your beautiful poetry.
God bless us and God bless our guides.
Yes.
What he said. Blessings.
Remember, everyone, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and go out and make it a great day. Goodbye.
Deuces.